Okay, so, hello guys, it's me Gaming Star here, and today I am back with another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time, we had basically done day 3 investigation. We found a lot of things, and yeah, that's pretty much all we did for this investigation. This time we're gonna go ahead and finally finish the case, the final day. We're finally gonna finish this goddamn case and put it to rest. So then, after this is gonna be the end of the Let's Play. Let's go. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth! Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 777777 ID number that is? Well, I have pretty strong hunch. Gant. It looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach the verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom to suspect, then no doubt from him. After all, he hasn't been officially charged of anything. True, not yet. In the event, once all doubt's been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right? Chief Prosecutor Scott will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say that as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the F9 incident. Don't be stupid, today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to rest in the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in the court, right? This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gan has on her, it's now. Court is now session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth his opening statement. But before that, the police chief has proposals to make. Chief Gant. Hi, bitch. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, OG, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough, and this is my work. Good one. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted a request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! Objection! You can't! Your Honor, the defense's claims not to chase the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Edgeworth? One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth! The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling this age will certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand it's a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? Oh, that's not gonna happen. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me to be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal. Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Sky. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-presentation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Sky. Whoa! Sassy! Bitch, the exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. That's actually pretty true, I'm not gonna lie. Edgeworth, you have some wise words sometimes. Fuck. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Wervy? You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Sky, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take a horse by the reins. Damn. Damn, Edgeworth really do be sassy! What the hell, dude? Not a witness. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Sky. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered a serial killer, Joe Dark, from the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall these events one more time. As Edgeworth, please remember the trial consists of murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay, you're just gonna staring contest. You sure gave it fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Let's go, bitch. Alright, let's go. Okay, let's hear. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in the instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable, however. Please tell me, Mr. Wright. What does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, cito! Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Drake. Dark. Just then the lights went. I said Drake. Dark. The lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image in the scene of my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw. Detective? Yes, Detective Goodman was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. I would like to hear more, if you don't mind me. So you spoke to Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. So you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? I should mention that before. Mr. Wright, have you enough? Ask about the picture. The picture of the witness drew. I believe it has very important meaning. I'm trying to... hang on. But the list of evidence was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added a statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Wait a minute! There's a picture. A picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. I've got a very bad feeling about this. Objection! Haha! Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist in denying its existence? Ah! Hey, I'm not the bad guy! All I'm saying is that the prosecutor in the case, I would have just handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence as an incident? Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Ah! What's this? Oh boy. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew! Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. Damn, she's actually a pretty good artist, I'm not gonna lie. Hell, I can't draw bodies like that! Have you seen my art sometimes, guys? Have you fucking seen it? What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, they're torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened 2 years ago. Only half of the evidence in the case ever reached you. What? What? No! Order! But Miss Sky, why did you draw a picture from the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed to me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Oh, that makes sense. Wait a minute. Is this the list torn in half? That means... Your Honor? Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head, like a pug. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more to draw into the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see! Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. Is that thing? Why am I laughing? God damn. That's the... That thing! That thing was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, the active end was one of the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list. Now we know exactly what it looks like. And we know what the drawing looks like. It's full. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about the picture you drew 2 years ago? Ha! Oh, yes, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Damn, she's a pretty good artist, even better than me, what the fuck? The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted. The picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Ah, that's such a great pose. I think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark's back to prosecution. The defense may not cross-examination. Alright, let's go! We have so much evidence, this is insanity. What the fuck is all this evidence? Oh my god, this is literal insanity. Objection! Baby! I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blank contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply point out this contradiction for us. What part of it is pointed out? The tip. You see how there's a tip missing on the knife. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife that the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see a tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. You see that the murder weapon is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence to prove Joe Dark was the murder. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back, not the chest. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should be not yet be broken! Ah! What's the meaning of this? Oh boy, oh. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand? No. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it could possibly wind up there. What if you eat it? That's right, but this would be... What if you just ate it straight up? Just like, oh, broken knife, ate it. The tip of the knife was deniably discovered from the victim's body. The only possible explanation is witness memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she could sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed that time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There's another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be a piece of evidence that was forged! You can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! Oh god. I love spiciness. Odd. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Basically, because, you know, I mean, come on. Please. Your Honor, please allow me to once again get over the events that took place on the day of the murder. Alright. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding the ceremony that day. It's corrupt, just like Puerto Rican government is corrupt. God damn, I had to make that joke. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The Puerto Rican government is pretty fucking corrupt. I mean, come on, we have some corrupt fucking politicians over here in Puerto Rico, like, seriously though. Soon the king of prosecutors awarded the ceremony. Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon. You know why one of the governors literally resigned? Speaking in Runcia? It's because he straight up literally like chat leaked, and it's just like, oh god. Yeah, that's not for another day. During his questioning, Joe Dirk fled the room about Puerto Rican politics. I don't want to talk about that, but it's fucking crazy. Chased after him and killed by Dark. It's my belief that somewhere in the story there was a lie. Also, by the way, fun fact is that did you know that the first governor of Puerto Rico was actually Ponce de Leon? That Ponce de Leon? Yeah, that guy. I don't know why I did that, but I just wanted to point it out because it's interesting. I'm not lying. The man really was holding a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are chances of being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There's another one. I don't know what this actually is. What she saw. Can't just explain away by simple observation error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assumed then that she had been information about this other broken knife, so please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder, so only the way. Take a look at this real murder weapon. The tip of the knife. Where's the tip of the knife at? Shit, dude. Tip of the knife. Where's the tip of the knife? The real murder weapon. It's you. Huh? I'm sure it must be listening to you, but remind me this last guy hangs the balance. The broken tip is you! My tip is broken, guys. My tip is so broken. Okay. Point to the tip of the knife. Wait a minute. I think I have a feeling. 2 years in the past. Right here inside his picture. It's a picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is that, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor marshal is holding. It's broken tip. That's a broken knife. Yeah, guys. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was only likely from this award. The award is a weapon. Odd! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As a reward, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he was chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. His broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be! Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murder weapon victim would be reversed! What do you mean? I mean, the man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall! Oh, God! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? Oh, God, this is... Edgeworth, you really did something. It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait! I remember now. I remember everything. Witness, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? Oh, that picture skipping off the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. Wait up. What? At the time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please recall? Yes, Your Honor. Where's the knife mix-up? And now the blue badger? This should be interesting. The fuck is going on, though? When I saw the man raise his knife, I panicked. I rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger, even though it only existed until now, but okay. He was in the room, but I saw his shadow. His shadow even exists yet, though. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible! The chief detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may not be getting cross-examination. Stop! Please don't pursue this any further! Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in this defense seat. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why do you just leave it in that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Alright. She's getting spicy. Okay. But she'll get spicy later, but right now space getting a little bit spiced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Objection! The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar with weird handles. Trust me, I made a jar, and honestly, it literally straight up could not even hold anything. It literally cracked. What if we were to change your viewpoint? Let's show him the correct angle to look at this from. Oh god, this music is killing me! And that's complete by the entire fucking time. God. Alright, so we have to basically get the right angle. Oh my god, so annoying. Like this. Something like. Wait a minute. This music is literally gonna be the end of me, like. I'm trying to get it like a perfect condition. Like just right. Wait a minute. Aha. Like this? I think if we go like this, then yeah, I think. This isn't right. I've got another badger. Damn it! Ah, shit, I messed it up. Alright, so maybe I have to do a little bit horizontally. Maybe like this? Wait a minute. I hate this minigame! Okay, wait a minute. I'm trying to get the right angle here, but like, oh my god, I haven't done this in a while, like I said before. It's very possible that it could be like this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so like this. The handles like that. God! Ah! I hate this minigame so much. Oh my god, I hate this minigame. God, why though? Perspective. God, I hate this one so much. Oh god. Okay, so we have to make it look just right. Right. So kind of like, hang on. So like this. Like this, I think. That! There you go, got it. God, that took me a while. Well, is this a miracle or what? And looks like a Smash Bros. Logo. Look at possibly the jars resembles two blue badgers. I swear that looks like oh my god. Why does it look like no? Why did I say that? It looks like you know, like one of those like Smash like Bros, like, you know, like serious logos, like, you know how they add like in the fight. That's what it looks like. Holy shit, dude. That's what it looks like. Oh, even the same shit, even the same red. The defense have proven its claim. This Blue Badger witness on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoy Best Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So, the Blue Badger thing was actually just a jar. Doesn't change anything. What's a jar? Makes sense. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well then, please tell us. What's different now about the witness saw this jar? Where's it say? It's the evidence. But what if it's the what if it was the location? Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where she could have seen this jar. Where? This location of the jar is shown in the picture taken the day of the crime. The shelf of the office. David Gant. Both bodies were found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testifies so herself. What if it had been moved? Yes, and those two facts reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's side. Are you implying that the murderer moved the victim's body? From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Very possible. Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. There is a reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he would have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Nope. But I probably figured it out. So this is where Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying like a squirrel? Could have been. The impact the man made was he knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more, ladies and gentlemen, and folks, if the man was knocked into the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what could have hit? The suit of armor! Holding a sharp and very dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there's another possibility what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place and defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming that the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Into the night statue. Okay. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and the proof that there's her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How could you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid that you're going to have to prove. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in that case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This all has to be wild goose chase from the beginning. If you have faith, then yeah, you could, but okay. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course, the only leaves us of one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Driver? I mean the possibility that the victim was left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's so possible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. The message from the deceased to such message this. I've got to think about the court record. The real murderer's name of the victim left behind is in the evidence. It's the jar, because you saw how there was like a kind of like an E shape. This message from deceased already possession. Mr. Wright, will you please stop blaming my sister the murderer? She's not though. It was an accident. If it was, there might be a mistake in this guy. Our purpose is not to excuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing: seek the truth. No matter how painful it may be. True. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the evidence. It's the jar. It's this godforsaken jar. This is a message left to the deceased. This is the badger from before, right? Oh, this. Gotta just speak the killer's name. Is that what I'm sure it would? It looks like everyone's forgotten that this is just a jar. A message just left here on the surface of the jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see that there's a faint trail of blood on the jar. It looks like something wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, on the blood, some of the fragments, it's not wiped away. Yes, so what are you saying? Is that the dots were once lines. Oh yeah, they were! Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. Blood that someone apparently wiped away, but blood must have seeped into the jar with the lines of directions. Precisely slow. All we need to do is connect those dots, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe those dots reveal the an answer. I've got to connect those lines to create the dot. There's only one thing to fit his murderer's name. Alright, so let's connect the dots. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's starting to get shaped like an E. Emma. It's Emma. It's defense attorneys due to prove their client's innocence. That's all I've been thinking about saving Lana. After all of efforts, I've never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. Emma? So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. You wiped it away, though. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant? Do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convinced because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Lack! Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. You fucking shithead! Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. You hijo de puta You puta. Hijo de putusica. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. That is true, though. He was. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we weren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. The sentencing of a man to death is no light matter, even if it wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Not just the prosecutor, also involves on the person, on the people that investigate it too, you have to remember. Because corruption. Despite what anyone may say, the fact cannot be denied. What's going on at that prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How could he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! We can't get any order in this courtroom. God damn it, okay. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial's headed, no one knows. Alright. I think we're gonna keep going because you know what? Let's get this trial over with. Fuck it. I really want to get this trial over with and dusted. I'm tired of splitting up episodes. I really just want to get this trial completely done and dusted. Let's do it. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not trying to get any pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait the heck up you! What is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. Top of that, you call me here, I've been happier people at funerals. I think Alana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edward was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, evidence shall be shown to without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could really study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning on taking him on, you're going to need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to get the book to read. From this guy explains 2 rules of evidence law. Oh, like I was just a little duck on the cover. Look at how the book and I'm gonna know. All that's left is now the chief prosecutor sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective, huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in the prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations been thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun. What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all ruined with the forged evidence you were aware of. And this guy found out when it caused a man's death, and now you're telling me more to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Unfortunately, there are cases that could never be closed. It's pretty unfortunate, but... Also, fun fact, the other day, I literally straight up discovered that, like, one of my ancestors was literally a murderer, so that happened. Yeah, one of my ancestors was in jail for murder and also for theft. 2 of them, actually. So, like, that's fun. That's fun. I have some weird ancestors, to say the least. Well, let's just say that. I have some weird ancestors filled with, like, some crazy shit stories, let's say that. I'm not gonna get into that, maybe in the live stream. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls for a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated a witness. I didn't say that! It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, it's an unusual, but very efficient one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with a witness. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth was found the way to continue this trial. Very well. The defense accepted the president's proposal. Then it's settled. Then, skin fuckers. The defense may now call forth the next witness, Mr. Wright. Do you realize this is your last chance? If you call the wrong witness, the trial is good as over. The defense calls... The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant, bitch! Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does that have to do with anything? Oh, why am I on a phone's breakdown? Us, the defendant's partner 2 years ago. Mr. Gant was first-hand acknowledged to the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to know about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He will also be at least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Let's go! We're gonna execute this bitch! This hijo de puta, let's go! Please state your name and occupation. What, is this some kind of practical joke? Just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir? Are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation! Can I not get the names? So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is David Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant. The court requests to hear a testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this asinine incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave, or you're very foolish. You are aware, of course, that police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if you don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries a certain risk. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. Let's go. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up the power outage didn't help either. When I went to the office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. I think you did. I'm saying you're a bit suspicious. Is that when Dark was arrested? Huh? Well, he was just lying on the floor unconscious. Wait a minute. When Emma said Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. But wait a minute, she's just a girl. How the hell was she just a... Look, listen, yeah. Wait. I have my doubts very heavily on this. I see, everything seems pretty clear cut. If the police chief has right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. Let's go. Final case, final test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The jar, though. But the jar! You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list was presented earlier. It was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? He's a corrupt police guy, though. Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit it then, that you're involved in forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? What would have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know? Defense attorneys could do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy, not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying us for the work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at this crime scene. My, kids, these I no longer know how to put up 2 or 2 together. Oh, I know how to put 2 and together. I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not a retarded bitch, alright? Come on. Let's see, what's it now? A jar fragment? And a list? And all I know, you could have planted him in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, they're worthless. There's no reason I participated in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out anyway. I beg to differ. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. Coño. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You understand when I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I'll press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but you don't mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, OG, in return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? When are these guys telepathic? These guys really do know each other. I mean, come on, they're both old after all. She's like 65. This bitch is like 65. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really, Chief Gant? In its very least, there's one large benefit you've reaped from all of this. Oh, wasn't aware. What was this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh, the resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to chief. That is itself significant motive. That's a good one. I'm gonna have my last time here. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even if that's the case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SLM really sped up the inevitable little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or it might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. Audrey, would you mind if you just a little? Oh, by means. Chris! Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough for yourself, though. That's a good one, Warby. Could you ever choose something for you? Given his selfishness would have helped someone out? Point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean! Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Lana Sky? Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky to the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would have wanted to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as if Chief Gant, he would also have reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After that SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how did he profit from all this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do this binding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You're assisting Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive is to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing because she's keeping quiet? Let's go look at this. Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. Definitely. I'm afraid we found any proof elements, nothing more than just mere conjecture. Unless... It's also what happened in the incident. This incident? Or which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strangely throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but Chief is now making Lana take the breath to cover up his involvement. What? Boy, oh, she's getting spicy. Order. I said order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is a highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police is blackmail and murder? Yes. Chief, Judge, get the crop too. Impossible! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edger said in easier-to-understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. let's go. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright, that the chief of high rank is involved in murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank and title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. Let's see. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright. Better go. Show us evidence that Chief Gant was the murder of those Goodman. The ID card, of course. Oh, of course, the ID record is the most likely explanation. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 77777777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. Just say it's your number. Because how do I know? I broke into your safe by using that same fucking number. I mean, it's not a creative code, is it? What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. It's 7-digit code. 77777. You don't mean 7 sevens. Oh, I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 77777. Hold on, let me do this again. 7777777. Okay, got it. Same as the remaining ID card number on the list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. I don't know. Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was a violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright to be punished in the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of that ID card. Oh, you're sweating bullets, bitch. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What is that? Is this shit? Like, it's like, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, so do it the evidence room. The evidence room, like your bathroom, like you take a shit in the bathroom, like all the evidence? Okay. Detective Goodman wouldn't happen to be with you on that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. Ah, you hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine this guy's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us the proof that they on the crime. Lost item report. Guess you remember how I was looking for an item and like. Well, I think Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure he filled it. He filled it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to. Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took out form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way to murdering Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him in the evidence room. You could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe someone said so, didn't they? I was going to read that. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. You really had lent it to Detective Goodman. It would have been found in his body. No! Oh god, that breakdown's amazing. I love that break. I love that. Oh my god. Chief Gant, you did it! The murder was most likely spur of the moment crime for no one to mind. Would choose the police department as the place to commit murder. After the murder, you contact Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. That the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot in my fucking car. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know? And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You had to have the entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just want an officer to do it? Basically. Hey, you! Take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved his body? Mr. Wright shows this evidence. To move the victim's body used... a screwdriver, of course. How's it move the dead body? What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go, by Chief Gant no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here at the prosecutor's office. For some reason. That's kind of weird, isn't it? In that case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. And you unintentionally took a body with you. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did. Because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean I... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by the car! Oh, I see. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of the Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence to the closed area? There's only one possible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Odd! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal? Defenses are breaches occasions. Think back to the photograph Miss Stark took at the prosecutor's office. This is when that photo of the body being stuffed into the trunk would be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. The photo of the body be taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the district attorney general after this. We have to get going if you make time to early bird special. Because you're old man, of course. You're 65 years old. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? The police chief has all kinds of weapons on his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right. What? Sorry to casual invoke? There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Warby. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if I had any conclusive evidence, it would present it by now. Well, You think I had long to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Scranton Chief of Police. This court will not tolerate any case against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright. Your Honor! Do you have any proof, concrete proof? Proof that you're murdered? No. Do I have any? I have nothing. Literally nothing. We're fucked. Nothing at all. Sorry. It's not showing evidence to share myself. No, Your Honor. CIG? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can afford to lose, righto? It seems that the Lady Luck has on my side again today. Okay, IG, I'll leave the rest to you. Fuck you. Just fuck you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an effort to serious enforcement. What? Lady Luck? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. Revenue had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth, another witness. The absolute constant only method of proves testimony. The Chief Gant revoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness, who can answer all the questions. Raised in the trial, someone writing this very real. Mr. Edgeworth, this person. Were you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witness today. Mr. Wright, does the witness such success? She may not be able to tell the truth, but we can't stop now. Calls forth Lana Skye. The defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. She was tasked to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with the certain someone's orders, Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will not take its final recess for the day. The 15 minutes will reconvene. Your defense testimony. This court is now recessed. Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. What's it good, Lana? He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah! This isn't good! Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? It's just something to think about. Alright then. I've got lunch date to meet. Will that happen? Okay, are there any further objections? This court is now in recess. Oh boy. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he stole something else, that boss. That's a gumshoe. I'm not detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office! My office? Sure. I'll take the place the top naughty girl you used to work for. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gear's done it again. How does it always get upper hand? Not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, this is not right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risk? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma! Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery, so she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. Do you really think all this time my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man, and that she did it all just to protect me? Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she's changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders, she must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything Chief told her to. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into the armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time to final act. Emma, why don't you wait No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Let's go! Damn, sorry, an hour into. We're gonna keep this going because you know what? I want to end this. I want to end this Let's Play right here and now. I want to end it with a bang. So let's end this. I want to end this in a fucking bang. So let's end this Let's Play. Ladder 2. This is so long. Why is this so unnecessarily long? What the frick? You could have just like, oh god. And I know it's like what, 7 hours, like 8 hours, 7 hours, and yet there's a future games had a case like 11 hours long. This is only 7, and yet it feels much longer. Why? Holy shit. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? All right, Lana, come on up here, bitch. Come on up here. Come on up here. Okay, Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what's required of you, but Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye, and remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Alright. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth on this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found the prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had to do nothing with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony, Your Honor? I'm confessing the capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the very beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you have to help her. She sacrificed everything because of me. But if she's telling the truth, she's not. I know my little sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time for start second guessing myself. The defense may now begin its examination. Let's go. One, two, three, four. Hold it. You say you did it all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor's worn knife was stuck on the victim's body. What? The prosecutor marshal died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality was, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fast and fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement. You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away with the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up the lies. More lies. Or just protect me. So when you found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, as everything boils down to, yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and moved the body. Why did you move it, though? You put the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound? Then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask, why did you move the body? I should not see where exactly was the victim's body. It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gann's desk. But that body was found by your desk. Why did it move there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain more in detail. The reason this guy moved the body? Objection! Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth went to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a contradiction of your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified that I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written in this jar with the victim's blood. The prosecutor must have written in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message in the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. Ha! You couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Odd! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to the jar and its bloody message. It may miss some critical here. Something critical. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're in as dark as we are about the truth towards where we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We've pieced together the information to arrive to the truth. Very well, the witness may not continue her testimony. Alright. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were so large and I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright. Objection! This jar again! For like the 5th time! I believe the jar conceals truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of the jar in Chief Gann's safe. In Chief Gann's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about the final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified. She said she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of him. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up to the scene. Chief Gann got there before you. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? No. I'm afraid that isn't unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone a detective. And there will be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? I'm not gonna lie, I had the same experience as Judge. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on the shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying that person was Chief Gan at the time he was looking. For dark downstairs. Oh, I couldn't. The question is, he did arrive there. Why did he have the facts for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer this? No! No! The judge broke. We broke the judge. The judge broke. Wait, I'm not the one. The trial here. Damon Gann arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. I like how he showed how to break them. It's amazing. To break the jar. And purposely hid that one broken piece. Question. What is the action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would you do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gan's aid. Lending his aid, Gans helped create evidence in criminal dark, sparing Emma the very life. The reason why Miss Skye became chief puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. I don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies! Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gan's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright? Do you tell us foul lies to Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. The cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Okay, let's check it out, boy. Yeah! Actual crime scene, let's go! Alright. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence linked to her to the murder. I had Chief Gan help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it really was fabrication, Emma might be innocent. My arm actually hurts. I'm not gonna lie. I actually got sunburned the other day, and today my arm fucking hurts, and it still hurts. God. Like every time I move it, it kind of hurts a bit. Unbelievable. The body is impaled with armor. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's in picture I took in the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might need it. But I don't remember seeing a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember ever seeing any pictures. So she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Check the evidence again. There must be something. Was it the files? No. Oh, the evidence law book. Okay, open it up. It's Bio! It says Bio! Yeah, that's a very low res picture. Hey, there's a picture here. That's very low res picture. What the fuck? Oh, now it's better. Okay, it was very low res there for a minute. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. Oh, you can also see that there's a part of the lever missing on the jacket. No wonder the fact that I saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted criminal affairs only after I rearranged everything. Huh, Mr. Wright! That piece cut off from his vest Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints those must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. What? Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant? What now, you want me to make out as the bad guy too? So I like to put in a word or two in my defense. B! I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeit your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of noise. The noose tightening around your own neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Whoa, okay. Damn. Sorry to disappoint you. But I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? What do you have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall causing his death, conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? Yes. I should let peace witness now. Emma's sure to be made out as a murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence presented now, you can try to conceal anything, you'll be with a board of inquiries. What do I do now? Kind of bored to make the wrong decision. Should I present the evidence? Cannot show evidence. No. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant? You opened my safe! I know you who took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can you figure it out? Take a look at the picture. See how this piece of cloth missing? See that victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like a part has been cut up for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, Chief of Police, have been concealing evidence? This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Oh, baby! Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gal, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as a murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit it? I was the first person to arrive at this crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her? I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, but that she saw the scene, she would ask me to raid. So you assisted, Miss Sky. Damn. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip at the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I had tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You made those items in your safe! But why? For insurance. Of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to prepare for the worst. I wasn't about to let anybody blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? A edible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe out the blood of all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, that's what you say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admitted then, Chief Gan, that you were hiding the cloth you cut the victim's vest in safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being Chief and all. But that's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have to say to yourself, just a moment ago you said you didn't have the present evidence? Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But that moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as sit up. Show evidence, boyo! Your Honor, I have evidence to present. Alright, sequences of evidence. Evidence that shows we're actually murdered. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. At last you finally brought it into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth, the right hand specifically. Your Honor, the prosecution requests to be immediately sent to the lab analysis. This handprint is delivered. There must be a strong impact so clearly. You mean it could not have been forged? It must be authentic conclusive evidence. You're as slow as the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was willing to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know those fingerprints are on? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person's belongs is... Emma Sky. Emma? Emma Sky?! What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? You're really something, Righto? You knew this girl did it all along. And you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. The girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you knew whose fingerprints were on all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed conclusive evidence that my friends is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is concealed. Have your badge and have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue. Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? I have no sympathy. Aw, too bad. Did the kid die? Because it wasn't my fault that the kid fucking died. Oh, too bad. Listen, if you're dealing with an attorney, remember, dealing with an attorney, don't have emotion. Just saying, just be like, you know, that's what they want from you. They want you to break. That's what they want you to do. They want you to break. They want you to crack. They want you to have to crack. And you know what you gotta do? You gotta tell them, oh, too bad. Aw, too bad. It's not my fault. Too bad for you. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gad, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? No. I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? Contradiction? What's the foul babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, that piece of cloth! Who could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Here's the thing. Emma Sky's picture. And what exactly is it supposed to be? This is a picture this guy took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his cloth's vest is out? Yes, it's sure showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood in his vest though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Damn, that's a dirty death. Help with that piece of cloth. It's clear as day. Wait, there's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on the cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Well, now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground when he was knocked out. That's why the vase broke. If so, then tell me, who could have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him to the armored sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar of the victim's blood. A jar that then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And Lana believed her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out the bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. Hoo-hoo, baby, we're almost done. Oh, let me guess, Lana. Oh, yeah, okay. That was close, right? You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that for future allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Not so fast, though. Odd! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. He's fighting bullets up in here. Remember, Udgy? Earlier, old Rido here concealed a piece of cloth. So, and then, what's your excuse, Rido? We do have some conclusive evidence to you. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, what piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence? But that's not fair! Did you actually make him best me in court? Last laughed on you, son! That's like a female Gant. I swear to fucking God, so go ahead. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, did you admit it? You purposely concealed... I did not, actually. I admit it. I refused to present evidence at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There's certainly procedures involved in presenting evidence. No, YG! Don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward! I think I really... There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. You can prove your... Evidence law. Take that! No! This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this merely was a piece of cloth. Nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in the book. Second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. And remember, we had Detective Gumshoe who was technically part of the police department, so remember that. I found this piece of cloth evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the Elsinine incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take a one look at this picture and... So sorry, but can you recall when the picture was presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth is still meaningless. This valuable evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest? Yes. No! It was that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who could. Damn it, Gant! The killer was you! I knew I should have gotten rid of him. Good for nothing scum! For 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. I should have done the clapping, but I seriously didn't want it because games are doing Princess. I wanted to do this, but like I seriously didn't want to. You know what I mean? I wanted to though. He wanted to investigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Oh, Dr. Goodman. Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'm gonna lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to that day. He wanted to file a lawsuit in court. And I went to him with the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. Damn it. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. I'll get a pinch of still there. He opened his evidence locker and he was taking the evidence out. He said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand out all this to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. A bit bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. The accursed knife. You stabbed him, didn't you? I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worried so much before I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. That was his! I used to be known as Crime Computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. See, he's wearing gloves, that's why. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but that's the big deal. You make a lot more than yes detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside. How? How could you get this guy involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did the truth come out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So you left the jar fragments on and the gloves. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than the committer. Well, we did pretty well, actually, hiding it. You corrupted everyone, so you basically were a corrupter. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. As well, to much my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You mustn't know that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can't feel it. You and me, we're the same. No. No. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy? What? Looks like we'll have to cancel the lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Dana Gant. I knew you as used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you're no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks to all those memories, man. Don't worry, you'll be fine. I have Wright out here. And Warvy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. Alright. Oh god! This case is... Oh, fuck, dude. God, this took me a long time. Two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Dana Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial's over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant to help me forge evidence up to today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards do you have for a rookie? I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might just make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over the past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It wasn't nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems it's good self-examining in order for all of us. Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor. You were innocent of murder. However, although the Chief blackmailed you, the fact is still act as accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on for far too long already. Oh, yeah, I agree. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Hooray! Oh my god, it took forever. Oh god. Episode 21! Oh! I guess it's the end of this. Let's play then after that. After we, then we're gonna go ahead and just... February 25th? Dang. Next day after my birthday. Alarm list is finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't completely get off the hook. But at least she wasn't convicted of murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have in these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. I'll probably try to get you, pals. You are again, though. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe! What is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making Detective run around while on duty? Come on, Captain, to call me here. I have to see happier people locking the rules. Hey, line up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope. Not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it up to the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared of what you look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, if you're only doing it for me... No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day, by hiding what I believed to be true. I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. Now that you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. How must we make up for our own mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find a way back to our rightful path, and it's from there that we can move toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe, me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth! Stop hiding and come over here. He was hiding. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. He just goes. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. Damn, it's almost 2 hours! What the hell? I just it's almost 2 hours long. Holy fuck! It's too late for me. Oh my god, I'm looking at the recording. It's like 1 hour and 42 minutes. What the hell? Damn, this longest I've ever done. This longest episode, this series, no matter what I'm gonna say. I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes. The longest episode was 3 hours long. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. We're the same. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring it down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known to the truth for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me, and that's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Dim again, your mentor, Manfred von Karma. We're both the best of the best when it comes to fighting crime, but they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on your own, I need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah! What is this, a pop-up quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something was needed before no wrong. I know what this... Holy shit, 4 pages! The evidence list, because we had both halves, you know, we had both halves. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of evidence and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. True. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or what can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be going too. Okay, I'll be back to visit soon. seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith in that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey of rediscovering myself. Damn, I'm at 45. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But if I just said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who would be footing the bill. Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. I literally make nothing. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Okay, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Objection! Alright, so that is the end of this Let's Play. Hoo-hoo, baby. Oh, God. Okay, so we are done. For real this time. Alright, for real this time. So, anyway. This is the end of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So, hey, hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play. It was really fun to do. In some cases, though, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got a bit, like, you know, just annoyed a few times. I'm not even gonna lie, like, that happens, especially when you play games like this. The game's obviously amazing in its own way, you know what I mean? Like, if you like games like this, visual novels, games like this, then, like, seriously though, freaking get the trilogy. It's actually pretty cheap. You can actually get this, like, all like, I have the Ace Attorney trilogy. You can get this on basically any platform now, even on Steam if you want to get it. Like, you know, it's a really good game though. Highly recommend getting it, by the way. I'll play the second game at a later time, but for now, my next Let's Play will be, I'll be taking a break from the Ace Attorney series for just a little bit. Maybe maybe the next Let's Play after the next one I do. So the next one I'll be doing will be around the lines of, somewhere around the lines of a shorter one. Like, I'm thinking Pikmin 3 or either of the Mario and Luigi games. That's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of doing either Pikmin 3, that's the only Pikmin game I have left in the Pikmin trilogy I haven't done. Or the Mario and Luigi, the last two Mario and Luigi games that I have to do. I can't do about that story because, well, I don't have the equipment for that one, because the only way I can do is by an emulator, but the emulator honestly is not the best method. So, like, you know, it could work, but I don't know if I'll do Bowser's Night Story ever, so I'm just gonna kind of skip that game. I was kind of irrelevant, so I'm just gonna skip that one. Oh god. But, like, yeah, anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed Let's Play. It was genuinely a lot of fun to do. Genuinely, I had a lot of fun doing, like, you know, kind of doing a little bit of voice acting. I'm gonna prove upon that, obviously. My voice acting isn't as good. I know. I don't have enough variety. I'm gonna try to prove upon that, but, like, yeah, I'm just gonna try to prove upon that as much as possible. I'm trying to create new voices. It's gonna be hard for me, but I'm gonna try. But, yeah, oh god. But, yeah, so anyway, my next Let's Play will possibly, it just fell. It fell. But anyway, my next Let's Play will possibly be around the lines of Pikmin 3 or the Mario and Luigi games. I think Pikmin 3 will be the next one. That's the most definite one. So look out for Pikmin 3 or Mario and Luigi games. That's the next one that I might do after this one. So I'm gonna take a little break from uploading for maybe like a week, or maybe like a few days. I already took like a few week break before, so I'm gonna take like maybe just like maybe like a few days. But also that I also have like as well like possible job opportunities coming up too, so really that too. So I might not be able to record as often because of that. I don't know when though. That's the thing. I'll let you guys know in an update video if I ever do get the job opportunity. If I ever does like if I ever should, I can't speak today. If I ever actually, you know, get the official date for when I start, then my internship, then yeah, I will let you guys know in an update video. But for now, I don't know when. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and straight up take like maybe like what like a few day break for uploading for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do Pikmin 3 or Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga or Part of the Time. I don't know which one, but I think I'm gonna do Pikmin 3 mostly. Gay. Oh, cause she's gay. What cause she's gay? Oh god. Okay, that crazy actually kind of killed me. All right. So anyway. Oh goodness, sake. Ooh wee. Oh god. Oh god. I forgot my gavel. Okay. Alright, so once you guys are over, I'm gonna go ahead and episode. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. And well, let's wait for the credits. Just oh god. Like I'm seriously burnt out from Ace Attorney for a while, so that's why I'm taking a break, because I'm so burnt out from doing Ace Attorney. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm actually a bit burnt, I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm like straight up just like, that case was so long. Oh my god. Like, that case, yeah, I know it's like 7 hours in length, but like, it's just, I know it's not that long, like in terms of the like there's later cases that are much longer than that, but like it just feels so long because the trials are much longer than regular trials. It's just like, damn, that's one of my main issues with this case. And honestly, it's just that, you know, it just takes way too long, and there's some parts that just so slow. That's my main complaint with this case, to be honest, is that. But overall, the case definitely does have some pretty interesting twists and turns that I really do enjoy, but like, yeah, I don't even know. I don't even want to review some cases. Damn. It's great to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Well, I went to Europe, alright. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open his book. One more. Alright. Let's open his baby up. It's this Pio! It's a little boy! Don't forget it's a little Pio! I had to make that one last joke, alright? What's this? It's a picture. Okay. Alright, so anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please come subscribe and whatever. And yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that will be. Bye.